Hey guys, so guess what arrived in the mail earlier? It is the Blendiful from Tati Beauty. This is her newest launch. If you have not seen it, you've been hiding under a rock. These are her new blending tools that she recently launched as part of Tati Beauty. So if you guys would like to see my first impressions, it's still sealed, and see the application process and hear what I think, then just keep watching. Okay, so her newest launch is called the Blendiful. There are two little puffs inside. There's a full-size one and a mini one, and this retails for about $18, and shipping to the US was about $3. I paid about $21, $22 for this. It just says no harsh lines on the back, X's and O's Tati, cruelty-free, vegan, distributed by Tati Beauty, made in China. So this is what it comes like. So let's see what I think. Okay, so you get the large kind of beauty puff, and then you get the little baby one, which I think is black or brown. I can't really tell, and it's heart-shaped. They're very soft. They feel like a baby blanket, like that super soft material that baby's blankets are made out of. And this one feels a bit more dense and feels a little bit more like stuffed animal fabric. So it seems like the fabric is slightly different. This one's a bit smoother. This one's a bit rougher. This is a bit more of a dense puff, and this one is nice and bendy and flexible. Those are just my first thoughts right out of the bag. So on the website, it says that her puffs can be used for primer, foundation, powder, cream bronzer, powder bronzer, and highlight. And in the demonstration pictures, it shows this being used for everything except for the highlight, which she used the little mini one for. So that's what we're going to do today. So I have my products ready to go. Okay, so the first thing that she uses it for is a pore filling primer. So I figured I would just grab my little Tatcha Silk Canvas primer and give it a try. I don't usually use a pore filling primer, but I'm going to give it a try. I'm just gonna dip it in, kind of press it into the areas that I need it. Next, I'm going to go in right into foundation, and a foundation that I know I love is the Catrice HD Liquid Coverage Foundation. This is the shade 20 Rose Beige. It's a little dark for me, but I always make it work. So I'm going to drop this on my face and see what I think using this Blendiful. I'm going to use the same area I used for the primer. I kind of did like a patting and swiping motion. This is the half that's been applied, and this is the half that has not. It applied really smoothly. You can see that it's picking up just a little bit of product here, but nothing crazy. And I usually apply a second layer. So I'm going to do that now. So that applied really easily, really smoothly. No streaking, no like patchy areas. So far, so good. Now maybe it's me, but I'm getting makeup all over my fingers here. Like pushing and bending, the makeup's just kind of wrapping around and getting on my fingers. I haven't seen anyone else say they've had that issue, so maybe it's just a me issue. Yeah, like holding it this way, I'm getting makeup on my fingers. I don't know, maybe I'm doing it wrong. I'm filming this before Tati has even done like a demo video, so I really don't know if I'm doing it the right way or not. Okay, so it applied nicely, but like I said, I have makeup on my fingers from pinching it. Like I'm getting makeup here, so I don't know, that's a little strange. I don't normally get makeup all over my fingers. So just first thoughts, let's move on to concealer. Just using my Milani Conceal and Perfect, and I'm gonna go back in with the same area that I used before. I'm just gonna try to pinch it a little bit tighter this time. Do you guys see how I'm holding it? For the pressure and the detail that I want to get out of this, I really have to kind of hold it up near the point, and thus makeup's getting on my fingers. I never have this problem with a makeup sponge or with a brush, but because you have to pinch this and you have to kind of apply pressure, you kind of have to creep your fingers up towards the edge, and hence I'm getting makeup on my fingers. Okay, so does my makeup look nice and smooth? It does. I feel like it's applying it really well without putting any excess product on the face that doesn't have to be there. But am I preferring it to a sponge or brush so far? No, because of the kind of mess factor. I'm getting my fingers covered in makeup, which I don't really enjoy. So let's move on to powder. I have my Milk Makeup Loose Powder here. We're just gonna dip in with a different part of the Blendiful. So I guess I'm going to try to turn it this way and kind of bake the under eyes with this corner of the puff. I've used this one so far for primer, concealer, and foundation, so we'll try powder on this side. Again, I'm getting powder on my fingers. Can you guys see this? Honestly, it's making quite a mess. Haven't heard anyone talk about the mess that it makes on your hands. But again, maybe it's just me. Then I'm just gonna take the excess and kind of dust it on the rest of the face. Okay, so does my face look nice? Smooth? Even? Yes, it does. It looks nice. I'm not complaining about that. I did my nails earlier and they're now covered in foundation and powder, which is not something that normally happens when I'm doing my makeup with the standard tools that I use, which are usually beauty sponge and buffing brush. All right, so let's move on to bronzer. I'm gonna go ahead and continue using this side that I use for powder. I'm gonna dip into my L'Oreal True Match Lumi Bronzer. This is one of my favorites, and see how it applies. I'm used to using a fluffy brush, so we shall see. That worked really well for applying contour and bronzer, very fast. Didn't skip at all, it's nice and smooth. So maybe she's onto something. We'll see. Next up, let's try blush. I normally use a blush brush, but we'll give this a try. This is the Dubonnet blush from Jane Iredale, which I really enjoy. I'm gonna go into the side that I have not used yet. Bounce off a little on the back of my hand. That looks really pretty. I think I prefer this to brushes for bronzer and blush so far. It looks really nice. All right, the only thing we have left is highlight, and on the website they recommend using this little tiny one for either touch-ups during the day or for highlight. So I'm just gonna grab my Revlon Skin Lights Prismatic Highlight, which has been a favorite of mine for a while now. Just kind of apply to the high points. Ooh, this one's shedding. Can you guys see what's in my fingers? It's shedding a lot. So this one is not the same material, and it's shedding quite a bit onto my face. As you can see, this thing sheds a lot. This one is shedding a lot. The big gray one is not shedding at all. So there's definitely a different material. I don't really like this one. It's firmer. It's shedding more. Just, I don't find this one as comfortable to use as I do this one. Okay, so that is all of the base products for the face applied using the Blendiful products from Tati Beauty. So my thoughts. It applied the pore filling primer just fine, but I don't have a problem using my fingers for that. The foundation, again, it got all over the fingers. So if you're holding it like this, which is as they suggest, then you're gonna have to squeeze it here. And I don't know anyone that can keep their foundation to just a little tiny surface area like this. It's going to kind of blend out and onto your fingers. So keep that in mind while you're blending. You have to kind of pinch it unless you're pinching it really far back. That might work, but still I got a decent amount of makeup on my fingers and on my very fresh manicure that I just did a couple hours ago. So there's that. Did it apply the foundation beautifully, smoothly, evenly? Yes, it did. Moving on to concealer, same thing. I got the makeup on my fingers, which is not where I want it, but it did an amazing job of kind of smoothing out, blurring out, making it look beautiful. Moving on to powder. Great job of baking, but again, the powder kind of wraps around to the top and ends up on your fingers. Maybe it's just me. Then the highlight, or the bronzer. I really liked this for bronzer. It went on really smoothly. You can kind of fold it and get that like nice chiseled cheekbone line if that's what you prefer to do, and I thought that worked really well. It kind of helping to carve out my cheekbones. The blush, it worked beautifully. I was able to place it exactly where I wanted it. It wasn't too intense. I don't know, it just looked really nice the way it applied the bronzer and the blush. And then the highlight, like I said, I'm not a big fan of this little tiny one. So if she does eventually sell them separately, I would purchase this one and pass on this one. Because of the shedding, I just don't think it would be great for touch-ups either. I feel like this fur is gonna end up on your face, especially if you're greasy and there's little fuzzies coming off. It's gonna stick to your face when you're greasy. So I don't particularly like this one. But I would say give this one a try if you're looking for something to replace a brush and beauty blender type of situation and you want to just cut down to one thing. Now this is supposed to wash and dry quickly, which I will try and leave in the comments down below. My first impressions is that it did a nice job applying the makeup, but it wasn't completely mess-free as you saw. So on the fence, I don't see this replacing my beauty sponge and brushes just because I'd prefer not to have my hands covered in makeup, because then when I get dressed or I go help my kids get dressed or I go to do something else around the house, the makeup from my hands transfers to my children, to the things I'm doing around the house, and I just don't like that. So if I can help it, I don't want to have makeup all over my hands when I'm done doing my makeup. So I generally don't have that problem when I use a sponge like this or a brush like this. So, I mean, I'm kind of on the fence about this one. I'll let you guys be the judge what you think of this particular product. I just wanted to show you kind of the demonstration and my first thoughts as I'm trying it out. So I hope you guys found this kind of first thoughts and try on helpful of the Tati Blendiful makeup tools. If you did enjoy this video, remember to give it a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and as always, I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.